Go ahead and turn to page 127. 127 in your grammar book. You guys are getting pretty far in this book. We're going to make it to the end. $127. All right. See if I can get that a little lighter here. We're going to start with talking about verbs, and you pretty much know what a verb is. We've been talking about that quite a bit. So basically a verb shows action and it links the subject to another word or helps another verb. So there's three things that a verb can do. The one that's the most common that we usually talk about a lot is the action. So an action verb shows action or ownership. That one's pretty easy to identify. It's like run or sit or jump or fly or race, something like that. So anytime you have an action, that is a verb. But then we also have linking verbs and helping verbs. And a linking verb links the subject to a noun or an adjective. And then a helping verb helps an action verb or a linking verb. The helping verb is always followed by another verb. We've talked about these before. This is, I forgot to mention, it's a review. Review it at the top there. So we're going to answer these questions orally, it says. And down here, the first question, and it looks like my internet's kind of stopping and going too. So if you have any, if you miss anything, just let me know and I can repeat it. What are the linking verbs? Now I'm going to give you a clue. Everybody turn back to page 55 in your book. Go back to page 55. And then I'm going to ask somebody to volunteer to read all of the linking verbs. So on page 55, there's a list. I even put a little post-it here for linking verbs so we know what they are. Anybody? Okay, Cassie, can you read our list? It's right here where it says memorize it. These are the linking verbs. Uh-oh, except for we can't hear you.
I think my internet's going bad.
Uh-oh. If you get close to the computer like that, I can hear you.
Okay. Am, I, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, seem, become, appear, grow, remain, taste, sound, smell, feel, and look.
Good. Okay, those are the linking verbs. Good job with that. And what did you notice about the last five here? What do you know about those 5 words? What are those? Taste, sound, smell, feel, look. You remember that from anything? They're called the 5. You remember what they're called? No? Sight, smell, taste, feel. Anybody?
Are your sight, your smell, your taste, your touch, your...
Yes. Do you remember what that's called, Chase?
The
5.
They're called senses.
There you go. That was the word I was looking for. Good job, Chase. The 5 senses, remember? Taste, sound, smell, feel, look. Okay, so those are all part of linking verbs. Now it says back on our regular page here, I put my finger there so I could go back to it. Page 127 is where we're at. The next one says, what are the helping verbs? Now hold this spot, and then I want you to turn back to page 61. And then I need somebody to read that list. All the helping verbs. on page 61. Hold your spot on page 127. I see Cassie's hand, but let's see if somebody else can read these. 61, anybody else? Okay, Alexis, go for it.
At the bottom of the paper in the corner?
What's that?
At the bottom of the paper in the corner?
Oh, yeah, you can read it either here or at the top where it says memorize it. Yep, this same list. Yep, so go ahead and read. You can read at the bottom. That's fine. That's a good list right here.
Am, is, where, was, where, be, begin, been, have, has, had, do, does, did, may, might, must, can, will, shall, could, would, should.
Okay, good. At the beginning, you accidentally said where and begin, but it's actually were and being. I think you were just reading it so fast, your mind just made up those other words. But it's were and being. So these are all the helping verbs, okay? These help. And it says back on 127, it helps an action verb or linking verb. The helping verb is always followed by another verb. Okay, so now that we read all those lists for linking and helping, let's go back to page 127. And then it says the be verbs appear on both the linking verb and helping verb lists. Do you know what the be verbs are? Be verbs are, let's write this down. On this page right here, this is where we're at. This question down here where it says the be verbs appear on both the linking verb and helping verb list. What are they? So they are am, is, go ahead and write these down in your book. Are, was, were, be, being, and been. That's a lot of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me zoom in so you can see that better. Scoot that over a little. Make that a little lighter. Okay, so am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. That's B-E-E-N at the end. Been. Like, I've been looking for you, or I've been wondering where my earpods are. Has that ever happened to you? I've been wondering. I've been thinking about my doggy, or I've been missing my friend, or something like that. Been. Okay, so these are both linking and helping verbs. Did you guys write them all down? Give me a thumbs up if you wrote them down. Good. Okay, you got it, Chase? Okay. The next part, let me zoom back out here so you can see it better. Says add helping verbs.
What page are you on?
I am on page 127. Got it? Okay. Add helping verbs to the action verb 8 to change the meaning of the sentence. There are multiple right answers. Use eat, ate, eating, or eaten. Oh, weird. For some reason, hold on a second. I'm going to stop sharing this and then I'm going to reshare it. It stopped showing the camera for some reason. Why is it frozen? Let's see. What did I do? Oh, that was me.
Yeah, I can see it.
I got it now. I'm back. All right, I was just reading this part right here. It says to add helping verbs to the action verb ate. So here's the example. It says, the soldier ate apples, but how can we change it now to use a helping verb, which is, we're going to use a helping verb to change the meaning. What did you say? Is. We could say, is eating. The soldier, yes, is eating apples. Good. So we changed it from ate to eating, which is present tense, right? But we can't just say the soldier eating apples. That doesn't make sense. You need that helping verb is to make it make sense. The soldier is eating apples. All right. In this part down here, it says, find the weak verb. Fill in the blank with a stronger verb choice. The sentence says, the dwarf saw the soldiers. Underline that word saw. That is a weak verb. It's overused. We use saw a lot. In fact, remember, it's a banned word. We can't even use it anymore in our writing because it's overused, right? So what's another word that we could put here in the blank rather than saw? The dwarf blanked the soldiers. What's a different word than saw that we could put there? You remember when we talked about the banned words, see, saw? What's another word for saw? Like spotted, or what else?
Witnessed.
Huh?
Witnessed.
Witness. Good. Chase had one. What was yours?
I also had witnessed.
Okay. Witnessed. Anybody else think of a different word we could say instead of saw? What do you think, Delilah?
Seen.
No, we're trying to think of something completely different instead of saw, like spotted. Like I spotted the fox over in the forest. Did you have one, Alexis?
Recognize?
Ooh, good one. Recognize. That's a good one. Cassie.
Gazed.
Gazed. There you go. So you would say the dwarf gazed at the soldiers, huh? Something like that. Okay, so let's put, I liked recognize. Let's put recognized. The dwarf recognized the soldiers. So instead of saw, because saw is kind of weak, right? It's kind of a weak word. When I say weak, I mean like the opposite of strong, right? And it's just because we use it too much in our writing sometimes. So it's good to think of a better describing word, like recognize tells the reader a little bit more detail about what's happening in that sentence. Okay, so there's lots of other words you could put there. You guys got it? Recognize? Okay, good. You got it, Delilah? Yeah, okay. I'm going to move on then. Let's go on to our practice page, which is page 129. Page 129. Anybody want to volunteer to read that sentence? Okay, Wyatt, go for it.
Are you okay, my friend? He softly chuckled.
Good, nice reading. And the word is chuckled. We pretty much know what that means, like a laugh, right? Like a little laugh or a soft laugh, like a maybe yeah, he's kind of joking or something. Are you okay, my friends? Okay, so chuckled, we know what that means. It's like a little laugh. Okay, so put a check mark by vocabulary. And we don't have any articles in this sentence this time, so we don't have to label that. But we do have a noun. So Alexis, what noun do you see? There's just one.
Friend?
Yep, friends. Very good. And Cassie, how about pronouns? There's two of them.
Is it he?
He is one.
And then my?
Close, not my.
You?
Yes, there you go. You. So the pronoun is taking the place of a noun, and whoever they're talking to is you is referring to the person they're talking to. Good. And then Chase, how about two adjectives? Remember, they answer the question.
So he softly.
No, that's an adverb actually. So remember, if you look at friends and you ask yourself, which friends?
My friend.
There you go, my friends. And then the word okay is also an adjective because it's describing how they feel, right? Are you okay? So that is also an adjective.
Okay.
Now, Wyatt, how about the ly adverb?
Softly.
Good. So that's the, oops, no, we mark it with ly, sorry, forgot there, ly. And then we have, for Delilah, help us find the verbs. There's actually two verbs here.
I think it is chuckled.
Yes, that's a verb. And there's one more.
Friends.
I'm going to give you a clue. That's a good guess, but no, not friends. Notice that all of these words have a label already, right? We got pronoun, adjective, adjective. There's one word that does not have a label yet.
Are.
Yes, there you go. And that is a helping verb. It's a helping verb because it's completing that sentence and it's linking the pronoun to the adjectives. Okay, so and it's helping and linking both really. Okay, so now we need to find the subject. So let's go back to Alexis. What is the subject? Chuckled. Let's look at the verbs chuckled. Who chuckled?
The door.
Look at the words before it. Which word would tell us who chuckled?
He chuckled.
There you go, he. So the subject is he. And then Cassie, look at the verb are. This one's a little tricky, but what is the subject?
Is it you?
Yes, good. Are you? Usually the subject comes first, but sometimes the verb comes first, like this example. Good job. Okay, and Chase, where's the capital? What word do we need to make capital?
First, one.
Are, the word are.
He.
Actually, not he. It would be the very first word of the quote. But he does not need to be capitalized.
Okay.
And then there are two end marks this time. So Wyatt, what do we need at the very end of the sentence?
And mark.
Yeah. Which end mark do we need at the very end here? After chuckle.
Period.
Good. And then there's one more end mark because it says two end marks. You know,
Question mark right next to okay.
you're close. It is a question, but it should be after this word here.
So then it's question mark after friend.
Yes, because that's the whole question. Are you okay, my friends? Question mark. Softly chuckled. Okay, good. Phew. That was kind of a long one. Go ahead and rewrite the sentence. Notice that it's indented. So don't forget to start in a little bit. Make that a capital. Are you okay? Go ahead and write it in. And notice that the question mark is on the inside of the quotation mark. Okay, so question mark and then quotation mark. Delilah, are you already done? Can you hold it up to the camera? See how you did. Hold it up a little closer, up higher. I can see the bottom part. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. All right. When you guys are done writing your
I'm
sentence,
done.
give me a thumbs up so I can see that you're done. I heard that, Wyatt. Good. Okay, good. Are you finished, Cassie? Good. Chase. Okay, we're done with grammar. Go ahead and put your grammar book away. Set it aside. And so we're going to organize your binder a little bit. And I'm just going to walk you through this pretty slowly just so that you can make sure you're doing it right, and making sure anytime you open your rings, you got to make sure to close them as soon as you put the papers in. Okay, that's super, super important. So the stories that the one story that you wrote about the desert, the Sahara Desert, we're going to stop with that one, and we're not going to do the Gobi Desert. We're going to move on to something else. So what I need you to do is put away behind finished compositions the keyword outline and everything for the Gobi Desert, not the Gobi Desert, the Sahara Desert. But before you do that, let me show you something really quick. Remember this page right here that we talked about? This one is page 77 and it's yellow. Remember that page? That page 77 goes behind model, charts, and outlines. So turn to model, charts, and outlines. Go ahead.
Do you want the Gobi Desert behind the finished compositions too?
Yes, I do. But I wanted to make sure you got this yellow one behind the outlines tab, this tab, model, charts, and outlines. So you're going to go to the back of whatever you have in that tab and put the yellow page. Okay, make sure you close those rings. See if I can back out a little more. So the page 77, the yellow one, just the yellow one, goes behind model, charts, and outlines. And then the rest of everything for the deserts, like the Sahara and the Gobi Desert and your checklist and your keyword outline and your paragraph, all of that goes behind this one, finished compositions. Before you start turning the pages though, you got to make sure that you close your rings. All of that goes behind finished compositions. Give me a thumbs up when you got it all put away. Okay. Don't forget to close the rings. Chase, did you get it put away already? Okay, good. Make sure you close your rings. Okay, good, Wyatt. I think Cassie, I think you're still working on yours. And you got yours, Alexis. Okay, good. Got it, Cassie? Okay, now go back to, because we got to get out the next section now. Go back to where it says source text. That's the very first tab. And then right here, you're going to see Uh-oh, I'm missing a page. What happened to it? Hold on a second. You need to get out pages 81 to 89. 81 to 89. And somehow I'm missing a page here, so. How am I missing a page? Well, guess that's what happens, huh? 81 to 89. 81 should be that first page that shows the overview. For some reason, mine is missing from my binder, which is not a good sign. Oh, I think I know where it's at. I moved it. That was my fault. Hold on a second. Yeah, that was me. Okay, I got it. Here's 81. And then you should have the Sahara sand viper. And then you should have the Mojave rattlesnake. And then you should have the Gray's monitor. And then the checklist. Give me a thumbs up if you have all 5 of those pages. You should have 5 pages.
I can't find mine because my thing got mixed up.
Your binder got mixed up?
Yeah.
Can you find any of those pages?
I can find 2 of them. I can find the sand.
Let me see. I'll message your mom really quick, see if she can come help you.
No, that's not the right one. Oh yeah, I have the Sahara sand viper and the desert reptile composition.
Okay, so you got a couple of them, but you need pages 81 to 89. Does anybody else have any that they're missing? Or do you have them? Give me a thumbs up if you have them all. You have one missing, Wyatt?
Yeah, the first one, the 81.
Okay. It's okay. I think we might have moved that a while ago. That's okay if you don't have this one. We don't really use that one anyway. The most important ones are this one, the Sahara sand viper, the Mojave rattlesnake, the Gray's monitor, and the checklist. Okay, so those are the most important ones. Okay. So Chase, I messaged your mom. She might come in and help you. If she does, just, whoops. Hold on, maybe I didn't. My phone's being weird. Oh, here we go. So if she comes in, you can see if she can help you find those pages. All right. Now I'm going to show you something on my screen. We're going to talk for a minute, but you don't have to write this down. Just watch me, okay? You don't have to write this down. I want to remind you about how to write a report, because we did that with the Sahara Desert. And the word report means to carry a fact of information from one source to another. So what we did when we learned about the Sahara Desert, we looked for interesting things about it. Remember how it talked about that underwater or under the sand, the water moves and it makes the sand move and shift around. That was interesting. We learned about the oasis, and that was interesting. We also learned about different animals that live in the Sahara Desert. And so those little bits of facts that we pulled from it is how we wrote our report. So we took those facts from one article and then we made our own report with it. And we're going to do that again. And this time we're talking about different animals that live in the desert. But I wanted to remind you that the subject is the broad thing that you're talking about. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. You do not have to write this down. You can just watch me, okay? You don't have to take notes right now. Just watch what I'm doing here. So if I have the word subject and topic, so there's a difference between the subject and the topic. So a subject is the big thing you're talking about. And then the topics are the smaller details about the subject. For instance, I'm just going to draw a line here. If I have the subject California, the state that we live in, what are some topics that we could actually write about California? What's something we could say about California? We have beaches, right? Avila Beach, Pismo Beach. We've got all kinds of different places where you can go play in the ocean.
Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara. Yeah, that's a good one. We also have mountains.
We have really beautiful poppies that are about to come out.
Poppies. I cannot wait. Oh my goodness. They are going to be beautiful. I bet there's going to be tons of them this
There's
year.
already poppies, like not at my house, but getting on the freeway. There's a bunch of poppies right there.
Oh, wow. They're already starting to bloom. That's cool. We could write about Los Angeles, right? LA. We could write about the different food in California.
The
Oh,
Golden Gate Bridge.
say that again.
The Golden Gate Bridge.
Golden Gate. Good one. You know where that's at, Wyatt?
San Francisco.
Francisco, yep. Okay, so I'm just going to stop there, but notice how many things, these are all topics about the subject California. Okay, now I'm going to draw another line here. And what if I wanted to talk about reptiles? And what we're going to do now is I'm going to put the words desert reptiles here. And now I want you to take a peek at the titles of the stories that you just took out of your binder, because the subject is desert reptiles, but what's one of the titles of the articles that we're going to read? What's one of the titles? I'm talking about these pages right here, like this one. The title here says the Sahara Sand Viper. So I'm going to put the Sahara Sand. I got to squeeze it in because I'm running out of room. Sand Viper.
Mojave rattlesnake.
Yes, the Mojave rattlesnake. By the way, Mojave's in California.
Yeah,
We know about
I
that.
went on the way to Las Vegas. I actually, we passed by there.
Oh, okay.
I think we saw a lot of jets.
Yeah, they have a big Air Force base there in
And then we
Mojave.
saw a bunch of tanks too.
Oh, cool. So, Chase, I see your mom there. If she can help you find pages 81 to 89, that's what we were looking for in the binder. I think you found a couple of them, but we were looking for the rest of them. Okay, what is another title of an article that we're going to read today? There's one more, this one. What does that say?
The Gray's Monitor.
The Gray's Monitor. That's weird, but that's going to be a type of reptile that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to put here Gray's Monitor. So I just wanted you to see the subject is here at the top. So like we said earlier, the subject right here is California. And then all of these are the topics about California. This subject is desert reptiles. And all of these right here are topics about reptiles. Now there's more than that. There's, I'm sure, lizards and other kinds of snakes and other kinds of maybe even desert tortoises. All of those could be listed under reptiles, desert reptiles. But that's the subject. That's the broad subject. The topics are the information and the details about that subject. Okay, so now when we read an article, and we're going to start with the Sahara sand viper. Looking at this article, and I'm calling it an article because it's different than a story. A lot of times a story has characters and events and things that conflict and solution to the problems and stuff like that. This is more informational text. And this is more like report writing, like we've been talking about. Okay, so it's a little different than a story. This is called an article. So this article has probably 15, I would guess, 15 different facts. Now remember, the broad subject is the subject, right? The broad thing of what we're talking about is the subject. The topics are individual things about that subject, but then we have facts. And we have probably 15 different things we can learn about the sand viper in this story, but we only need 6. Remember, we've been condensing. We don't want to write about all 15. We want to only pick 6 facts to write about, only 6. So that's going to be a little tricky. And the way we're going to do that is to underline what we find is interesting, what you think is interesting as we're reading. Now, if you accidentally underline more than 6, that's okay. Don't worry about that. We only need to write about 6, but if you underline more than that, that's okay. I'll help you pick the ones to write about. So what I'm going to do now is read this article about the Sahara sand viper. And then you're going to use your pencil, and I'm going to help you decide what is interesting in this article. And then we're going to decide what parts we're going to actually write about. Okay, so we'll do this part together. Sahara sand vipers live in the Sahara Desert and parts of the Middle East. Now I'm going to pause there because anytime I write an article, it's a good idea to talk about where they are, especially if you're talking about an animal or a reptile like this. So I think we need to underline that first sentence. I think that fact is going to be important to mention in our report. So go ahead and underline the first sentence. Sahara sand vipers live in the Sahara Desert and parts of the Middle East. The next thing it says is they can be as long as 1.6 feet or 60 centimeters. Now we only have to pick 6, and that makes it a little tricky because there's some really good facts in here. And
That says 50 centimeters, not 60.
Oh, 50. Thank you. 50 centimeters. But we have to be kind of picky and choosy about what we want to actually write about. I like that fact though, too. I think that's interesting, telling us how long they are. So I'm going to actually underline that one too. Go ahead and underline the second sentence. And then the next sentence says, most are pale sand-colored snakes with dark markings and wide triangle-shaped heads. Well, that's cool too, but I'm going to keep going because I only need 6, right? So let's see if we can find another interesting fact later on. Cleverly, These vipers bury themselves under the hot desert sand. Interesting. They bury themselves under the hot sand. I think I'm going to underline that one. I wonder why. Let's keep reading. They do this to cool off. Ah, that makes sense, right? But this is also how they hunt. Okay. Wiggling above the sand, a bit of the snake's tail makes passing lizards and rodents think that it is food. Oh, interesting. So they hide under the sand and they wiggle just like the end of their tail. And if there's another animal above the sand, they might think that's something small to eat, like a worm or some kind of bug. I think I know what's going to happen next, but I like that information. I think it's interesting. So right here where it says wiggling, go ahead and underline that sentence. Wiggling above the sand, a bit of the snake's tail makes passing lizards and rodents think that it is food. It's a long sentence, but go ahead and underline that sentence because it's interesting. Okay. Then when the unlikely prey is close, it strikes. The Sahara sand viper is vicious and will bite several times. Fortunately for humans, the viper's venom does not usually kill people, but it dooms any lizards, rodents, and birds that are bitten. Okay. So let's underline lizards, rodents, and birds. Those are their prey, right? That's a good fact to know. That's the prey. You guys with me so far? Yeah, underlining that?
Some snakes actually go after entire deers, like pythons.
Yeah, those giant ones. Isn't that crazy?
They literally just drag it into the water and then eat it.
That's scary and creepy. But that's like in the Amazon, right, Wyatt?
Well, they can be found in like they're kind of like crocodiles. They just like hide it in like some murky water.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Ate a whole woman.
What ate a whole woman?
A python.
Really? That's kind of creepy.
They saw that she was missing, so they went to go look in like the forest, and there they found the python, and it was very bulky. And they looked inside of it, and then they took out the woman.
Oh my gosh. Cassie, you're gonna give us nightmares now. Stop. You gotta stop.
But it was in Mexico. It was not here in the US.
Okay, remind me not to go to Mexico. No, thank you.
There's
And
many
mind
other
yourself
violent
not
things
to
that
go back
on
in time.
Mexico other than animals, but
What was that, Chase?
there's many more violent things that go on in Mexico other than animals.
And make
That's
sure
true.
not to go back in time, since there's a different snake called the Titanoboa, and it's actually still the largest snake. I think it can grow at full thing, I think 13 feet long.
So you must enjoy reading about snakes, Wyatt, I think. Because
And I just read about this on YouTube.
okay. All right.
And then I'm going
Yeah,
to Mexico in August.
Oh wow. Be careful. Watch out for the pythons.
That's only in the forest. That's only in the
Okay.
forest.
I went to Mexico once.
Let me
My
hear Alexis. Alexis wants to say something.
My dad is originally from New Mexico.
New Mexico. Do they have the pythons there too? In New
Do they?
Mexico?
No.
No. It's probably more in like the tropical type places, like deep in Mexico, I think.
But that
But
was
New
like,
Mexico, I would love to go there someday. I know they have like wild donkeys, which happen to be my favorite animal of all time. So I've heard that they just walk around sometimes on the streets, and that would be cool to see that.
My dad says it's beautiful there.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
One time went on a
In
cruise to
Mexico, you'll
Mexico.
just
The
find
beaches were so warm.
random dogs walking,
Oh, yeah.
and they don't mind if they'll just take their time walking on the streets.
Are you talking about the donkeys?
No, the dogs in
Dogs.
Mexico.
Oh, the dogs in Mexico.
They
Yeah.
just take their time. They walk very slow, and then they'll just take their time, so they won't let cars pass by.
Oh, how funny. Huh. All right, let's keep going. We got some facts that we've underlined, but let's keep going. The Sahara sand viper is interesting for two other reasons. It is a sidewinder. That's let's just underline that word sidewinder. That's kind of cool. That means that in order to move quickly, the viper jumps over the sand instead of slithering. So let's go ahead and extend that all the way to the end of that sentence. So we're going to start on the word sidewinder and then keep underlining till you get to the end of that sentence where it says slithering. Because that's kind of cool. Although, you know, I have to admit, I really don't like snakes at all, but it's interesting to read about them, but they do kind of creep me out. Alexis,
We're at our max.
rats?
We're at our max.
Oh,
My dad used to have.
we're at our max. Oh, go
I-
ahead, Alexis.
Sidewinder. My dad used to have a sidewinder.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Man, your dad is an interesting
Yeah,
guy.
he had a lot of.
He's an interesting guy. That's cool.
He
Did he
used to have a lot of.
really? Wow. In your house, like in cages or tanks?
This is before me, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, he used to have. Even my grandpa, he used to have some, and I used to touch him when I was littler. They were so weird.
Yeah. Weird is
Absolutely
one word.
so weird.
Creepy. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's finish this.
Oh, and
We're almost there. Oh, go ahead, Alexis. You could say that one more thing.
So we plant stuff in our garden, and so we planted an artichoke.
Yeah.
And the leaf grew huge, and we saw a green rattlesnake. My dad went to go pick one, and a green rattlesnake was under the leaf. And
I've never seen a green one. That is crazy.
Mojave green.
Oh, wow. Because, you know, in the desert, obviously the rattlesnakes blend in with the dirt. So they're more like brown, different shades of brown and stuff.
Yeah,
No, it's totally green.
it's pretty much totally green, lime green.
Wow.
Yeah, he has like a close up. He has a close up picture of it, and my mom's so freaking out. Get away from there! Get away from there!
Yeah, I would be freaking out too. Those are scary. And it probably just blended in with the leaves, huh? Because it was green like that.
This
Yeah,
is what you do if you see that. You just call in a tactical nuke.
Okay, well, we have actually, because we have rattlesnakes sometimes in the summer up here. You guys probably do too. They're all over California. And we are going to learn about rattlesnakes next week. But anyway, we have a snake grabber. Have you guys ever seen a snake grabber before?
No.
my dad has one.
Yeah, you need one if you have them near your house, because, you know, those rattlesnakes can jump, as you know, we'll learn about that, but they can jump pretty far. And of course they're venomous, so we don't want them around our dogs. And
Where I live, we don't have a lot of snakes. We get like non-venomous ones. Like we get the gopher ones that'll just eat like your plants
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
those are the good ones. You want to keep those around to help with other pests. And even the gopher snakes or the garter snakes will eat rattlesnakes. I've heard that too. So it's good to keep those
We
around.
don't have rattlesnakes. We only have gophers.
So the snake grabber is like a 5 foot or a 6 foot long stick that has a trigger, like a squeeze trigger.
I
on one
have
side.
seen it.
Yeah, and
It's like a
you
little
can get it-
trigger that like holds their head down so they
You can
can't
get
bite
it
you.
right under their jaw, and that way you can control it so it's not going to get you, and then you can either relocate it or whatever. But yeah, those are kind of handy. Okay, I got to finish this story because we're running out of time. Not story, it's an article. Okay, so it leaves J-shaped tracks in the desert. Interesting. Okay. The sand viper does not lay eggs. It bears live young, which is not a common thing for a snake to do, because normally snakes lay eggs, right? But this particular snake, it gives birth to actual baby snakes. That's interesting. So I wonder, I think we should do that. Let's do this sentence. The sand viper does not lay eggs. Let's keep going all the way to the end here. Now, Wyatt told us a minute ago that we already reached our maximum, and you're right. So what we're going to do now is number the ones that we want to keep, because we need 6 only, remember? So we're going to pick 6 things and we're going to number them. I really like the first 2. Those are important and I think interesting to put in our report. So I'm going to label that one number 1 and that one number 2. So go ahead and write number 1 next to that fact about where they live. And then write number 2 next to the fact about how long it is. Okay. The vipers bury themselves under the hot desert sand. That's a cool fact, right? So let's do that. Let's put number 3 for that one. And also right here, I want you to underline, do you see where it says cool off? Right here. Because we're going to do our keyword outline and we want to make sure to include that that's why they bury themselves under the hot sand, to cool off. Okay, that's part of number 3. And then wiggling above the sand, a bit of the snake's tail makes passing lizards and rodents think that it's food. That's a good fact. Let's put a number 4 by that word wiggling. Right here where we have lizards, rodents, and birds, that's what they eat. I think that's important. Uh-oh, now we have to pick only 1 more because we have 5 already. So you get to pick for you. Do you want to write about that it's a sidewinder and how it moves, or that it does not lay eggs? You get to pick which one. So you're going to put a number 6 either by sidewinder or put a number 6 by that they do not lay eggs. It gives birth to live babies, right? I'm going to choose right here as sidewinder. That's pretty interesting. So now I have 6. Do you see how I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Those are my 6 facts that I pulled out. Some of the stuff I didn't include because I had to narrow it down. And it's really that I'm showing you how I'm doing this, but eventually you're going to figure out what facts you want to include on your own. This is just what we're doing together today. Give me a thumbs up if you got it just like mine. Give me a thumbs up. Got the numbers on there? Good. You got it, Alexis? Okay, good. Now get out. I know we're running out of time, but get out a clean piece of lined paper. We're just going to set up your keyword outline now. So you're going to write on this one. And go ahead and put your name and the date, February 28, 2023. This one is called the Sahara Sand Viper. And it's right underneath it, it's KWO. Remember, that stands for keyword outline. Okay, I'll wait there for a second so you guys can get that down. Okay. Now I'm just going to have you set up skip a line and you're going to set up your outline, and it's going to have Roman numeral 1. And then you're just going to do number 1 to 6. And then the clincher. I also want you to write the word topic up here. Okay, good. Now, earlier we talked about how the subject, you can keep writing if you're still writing, it's okay. The subject for this report is actually going to be desert reptiles, right? And this is just one of them. So this is one of the topics. So the topic here next to the Roman numeral, you're going to write the Sahara sand viper. And since that's the name of this guy, I'm going to put it right here. Go ahead and write this into the Sahara sand viper. And I know that we normally only do 3 words, but for the sake of this one, because we put the name here, that's the name of this snake, is the Sahara sand viper. I'm also going to put the word unusual. Because remember, when you are writing about different topics under a subject, you need to introduce the topics. So for this one, we're introducing the Sahara sand viper, and that it is an unusual reptile. Okay. Now, that is the topic sentence. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For your homework, you're going to look at this page that we underlined and we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So don't worry about these down here. You're going to ignore those, right? These are the ones that we picked, unless you picked that one instead of that one. But the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you're going to list 3 key words about those facts that we underlined. Okay. And you're going to finish this outline for your homework. So look at the 6 facts that we underlined in your article, and you're going to have to pick 3 key words. You can still use symbols and numbers and abbreviations for free. So keep that in mind. And finish this outline using this article. Do you have any questions about that? No? Good. Okay. Good. So your homework, as usual with the grammar, is those 3 pages after what we did today. So your homework for grammar is pages 130 to 132. And then you're just going to finish this outline for the Sahara sand viper. That's your homework this week. Okay, if you don't have any questions, then we're done for today. So good job, you guys. And we'll see you next week.
I'm never gonna
Bye.
leave.
You're
I'm
never
never
gonna
gonna
leave.
leave.
Bye, Alexis.
Bye.
Bye, Wyatt.
Bye.
See you next
I'm
time.
I'm
Have a
never
good
gonna
day.
leave. I'm